We quickly saw a really formidable marketplace constraint with regard to how many people in our country weren't able to effectively access emergency response services in the most traumatic times of their life. There was actually tons of private response infrastructure that wasn't being utilized properly. And that means security and medical response companies with tons of idle capacity on their fleets. We put this together as a platform to create a shared value concept where millions more people could now access effective emergency response services, while at the same time enabling the response companies to better commercialize their cost structures. At a certain point, once we had signed up 1 or 2 customers and needed to expand out the platform and the team, we then went out to VC funds and raised our first round of 6 million rand from SAVCA, a great VC fund in Cape Town. In my first business, we licensed technology, and I felt the brunt of that. You couldn't move at your own pace. You couldn't develop new product improvements at your own pace. And therefore, when we launched this, we agreed we wanted to purely build out our own platform that we can manage and tweak and change in the startup fashion, which is really quick. At that stage, they were only really within the 3 major metros. We've exported out now. I think we're at about a 95% population coverage in South Africa. No one has ever built the world's first global aggregated security network, and that's what we're busy doing. We have response presence now in over 24 markets, and that is going to probably double over the next 6 months.
So Linton lived in Singapore for a little bit of time with his previous employer, and being there and seeing the efficiency of grocery delivery taking off in Singapore, when he came back to South Africa, he thought this is something I could do. That people would order via WhatsApp and they would then do the delivery. We were doing 8,000 orders in a month in like Jan, Feb, and then you fast forward and COVID hits, like I said, in March, and all of a sudden you've got tens of thousands of orders, right? And then you sign a white label partner and they are doing almost equally and even more orders than what you're doing. So I believe that COVID provided help people overcome the barrier to purchasing online. And because of the fear of going outside and getting COVID, people would order online. And so that helped some of that sales growth. But once people bought once, we needed to keep them there. So we needed to make sure that the experience was seamless and that using one cart was something that you would want to continue to do. And so that contributed to that amazing growth. It was just in Johannesburg, and then expanded into Pretoria, and then expanded into other locations, other provinces. But we also signed a white label agreement with a specific retailer where they launched their product into the market, but we were essentially the back end. And so that contributed to that sales growth. So we were essentially the white label service provider for a retailer that launched in December of 2020. We had our own developers on site. I think we had a team of like 6 to 8 developers on site. And so we were constantly testing and learning. So it was very important for us to make sure that we prep the business because as a VC funder, you invest to exit. And it's your responsibility to make sure that you set up this business for the next funder that's looking at it and make sure that everything's in order. And so I think it was very important for us to make sure that the governance was taken care of.